a postcard from Freda Felcher.
Lloyd, I'm your dad. No way.
I had a daughter. I gave her up for adoption.
Well, what if we go track her down?
You're hot for my daughter.
What? Am I right? In time. Maybe we should catch a bus.
Can't, we got the bike.
They got bike racks on the front of buses now. So you guys all right? Can you go faster?
Harry, pedaling as fast as I can.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13.
Hello, I'm the Universal Critic. I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Growing up as a child of the 90s, one of my favorite comedians was definitely Jim Carrey. His delivery was somehow both over the top and completely natural at the same time, and he brought his A-game to every single role he was in, resulting in a string of certified comedy classics. Paramount in this string was the 1994 hit Dumb and Dumber, which, after a recent rewatch, I find even funnier as an adult than when I was a kid. So of course, any sort of sequel, namely one made 2 decades later, would have to walk on eggshells with me. But I am more than happy to say Dumb and Dumber 2 is an absolute gem and a very worthy successor to the original. 20 years after their previous adventure, Lloyd Christmas and Harry Dunn, played again by Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels, reunite to track down Lloyd's long-lost daughter Penny, played by Rachel Melvin, whom he fathered with Freda Felcher, played by Kathleen Turner. Along the way, Lloyd and Harry are caught up in yet another scheme, this time dealing with Penny's adoptive father, Dr. Pitchlow, played by Steve Tom, who is being conspired against by his cheating wife Adele, played by Laurie Holden, and her accomplices, twin brothers Travis and Captain Lippincott, both played by Rob Riggle. All these characters collide in the most insane and over-the-top fashion imaginable, as you would expect from a film like that. Before I continue, I just want to thank this movie for finally breaking the Carrey-less sequels trend that lasted for over a decade. By that I mean the string of sequels to Jim Carrey movies that don't actually have Jim Carrey in them, but maybe he just avoided them because he knew better. By far one of the worst in this trend was the awful prequel to Dumb and Dumber, but thankfully the sequel will wash whatever remaining aftertaste left from that film right out of your mouths. And also, instead of that film, we could have had a legit sequel with Carrey and Daniels, and it was meant to be written by, get this, Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Yes, that Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Life's just not fair, is it? Now that I got that out of the way, let's talk about this movie. Carrey and Daniels are able to fit perfectly back into their roles as Lloyd and Harry. The strength of the movie largely comes from their friendship, which always feels legitimate and sincere. And what drives that sincerity is that beneath all their stupid and horny antics, they are just two best friends who are out in the world chasing their dreams, which is pretty hard not to make endearing. And that last point is the key to writing stupid characters, by giving some logic to their stupidity. They can't just do stupid things for no reason, they have to do stupid things for stupid reasons. You've heard the phrase method to the madness? Well, think of this as intelligence to the stupidity. I won't spoil any of the story or the gags, but I will discuss the structure of the film and how it tries to emulate that of the original. There is a fine line between homage and copycatting, and Dumb and Dumber 2 manages to walk that line deftly. A sequel mimicking its predecessor is always a gamble, particularly for comedies. For every Anchorman 2, there is a Hangover 2. Luckily, Dumb and Dumber 2 is safely in the former category. It understands the gags and the story of the first film and why they struck a chord, but expands upon them rather than simply copying them, for which I am more than grateful. Overall, I give Dumb and Dumber 2 a very enthusiastic high big screen rating. Did the movie need to be made? Absolutely not. However, I am very pleased that it was made, and can't help but recommend it. I'm the Universal Critic, I talk about whatever I want, whenever I want. Goodbye.
Mark, yeah, ing, yeah, bird, yeah.